Good morning. Good morning. Hello, I'm Casey Durango of Go Keto with Casey, where I talk about how I lost 97.4 pounds after starting the ketogenic protocol, how you may be able to lose weight, improve your health, and regain control of your life like I did. Hope you're well. I am well. If someone could let me know that you can see and hear me. Oh, hello, Scott. Scott usually lets me know that I am seen and heard. So just a quick hello to some people who are here already. Christina Polishchik. Oh, I'm making a live. Deb Ervol tuning in from northern Montana. Celine Scrapashian. Hello. Casey from Saint Hubert, Quebec. And Kathy Sieber. And thank you. Scott says he can see and hear me. Okay, let's jump on in, shall we? Um, Today's topic. Oh, I'm going to back up. Here's my practice is to do this. I spend the first few minutes expounding on my thoughts on the topic, and then a quick little nod to supporters, and then turn my eyes to the comments for people who are here. So there we go. First of all, for those of you who are unaware, the ketogenic protocol, as I learned it and as I have practiced it now for well over 9 years, keep your carbohydrate intake to 20 grams or fewer a day. That's total carbs, not net. Net carbs just means more carbs. If it's not on page 4, link below, don't eat it, but you don't even need a food list. Fatty sources of protein, limited amounts of non-starchy vegetables, and limited amounts of full-fat dairy, if you like. Don't eat if you're not hungry. That's the third part, and we'll be coming back to that. Stop eating when you're satiated, not keep eating until you're stuffed. And then I have added, be patient and persevere. And actually, maybe those last two are difficult as well. But for me, the most challenging part is not laying off the carbs. Once I did that, pretty quickly, I didn't want them anymore. And that's not a joke. And you can go to my blog and see my previous photographs from my previous life. I didn't get to be that big by not eating a lot of food and not enjoying it. Now, I enjoyed it while I ate it, and then I was miserable until the next time I ate. Guilt, being overweight, feeling like a failure, feeling like I had no willpower. Then I would eat again and feel good for 4 minutes, and then the whole thing would start. But once I laid off the carbs, because the protocol is keep your carbs 20 grams or fewer a day, and if you do eat any non-starchy vegetables, the limited amounts will get you to about 10 or 12 grams of carbs right there. So, no rice, potatoes, all that stuff. No tortilla chips. So once I was not eating them, I didn't want them anymore. The most challenging part for me, and is to this day, don't eat if you're not hungry. I'm going to guess that is a challenge for many of us. And understandably, if we think about it, many of us were fed whether we were hungry or not from the time we were toddlers, right? Infants kind of know whether they're hungry, and they cry when they're hungry, and then they turn their heads away when they don't want to eat anymore. And then you wait until the next time they cry. You get to be a toddler, and it's like, here, have this. And then we're now in multi-generations of having been told and believing 3 meals a day, 2 snacks, breakfast, the most important meal of the day, clean your plate. So long before we were making the food decisions, many of us were fed. And then, even though we didn't make that food decision, we didn't put the food on our plate, finish what's on your plate. But I'm not finish what's on your plate. But I don't finish what's on your plate. So we have a really poorly structured relationship with food. Multiple generations ago, way long ago, they didn't have the luxury of finish what's on your plate and have more and eat when you can, eat to fuel yourself so that you can survive to tell the tale another day. Food was precious. Now we throw away more of it. than we actually eat. And a lot of the food we eat has no nutritional value. So don't eat if you're not hungry. I have to remind myself. Now, sometimes I'm very busy. And I know I hear from other people is, yeah, I essentially forgot to eat, which probably means you're busy and you weren't hungry. But another day you weren't so busy, you would have eaten because you wouldn't have forgotten to eat. You would have remembered to eat whether you were hungry or not. I know when I'm quite busy, it's just, okay, I look up and but I still need to make the decision. I have to ask myself the question, am I eating out of hunger or out of habit? A lot of times it's habit. Around Go Keto with Casey, we have a phrase, push the peckishness. When I was first doing this and I was, gradually, appropriately losing weight, it didn't just fall off of me. I realized that I might be a little peckish. Like, okay, peckish. What is that? It's a really wonderful British word, I think. And it just means, oh, I could eat. I'm a little hungry, but it's not like I'm hungry. So when I was doing this, as soon as I felt peckish, I'd eat something. And then I realized this one day I was peckish, but then I got really busy. And I realized several hours later, that level of peckishness had remained the same. And then it's like you get too peckish to the third power. Then it's time to eat for me. But that's hours later or a couple of hours later. So I was eating as soon as I got that peckish signal, which meant that I was probably eating more fuel than I required. And this is an adjustment. And many of us don't even know what actual hunger feels like. What brain hunger when you're a sugar burner, your brain is telling you to get more glucose because glucose can't be stored and it has to go up to your brain. Blah, 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 blah. You've heard this before. If you're a fat burner, your brain's not going to call for more fat because there's plenty around. There's plenty of ketones. Plenty. And our little engines just love operating on ketones. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Hold, please. My television has gremlins. It's going to try to turn itself back on. And I never know what it's going to come back on to. Maybe it'll stay off. Okay. I'm armed. Oh, here it comes. Hold, please. Let's see what it's going to do. Okay, so I'm going to keep talking while this is going on. Okay, thank goodness. So hunger is just different when you're a fat burner. Okay? It just is. I'll leave that be. So we have to learn what that is now. And it's not an emergency. When you're a fat burner, you don't have to eat as soon as you feel a little peckishness. And remember that a tummy growling is not actual hunger. It's a circadian signal that, hey, you usually eat right about now. Oh, yes, I usually do eat right about now, but I'm not. Let's see what happens. And in 5 minutes, the stomach stops growling. It's a little signal, it's a little reminder. But we don't really need that because we have brains. Most of us. So for me, that is the most challenging part. The stop eating when satiated is a lot easier now because I'll tell you, here is a pro tip. Eat slowly. Why? Now, it's not a gimmick. It's physiological. There is a hormone, leptin, that is the satiety hormone. It signals the brain that you've had enough. But it takes a while for it to get to the brain. I don't know where it starts out. I always point to my stomach, but I don't know where the leptin lives. But it takes a while for the signal to get to the brain that you've had enough. And when I say a while, it could be 12 minutes, 15 minutes, depending. I don't know. I've never timed it. But if we have consumed an entire plate of fuel in 8 minutes, for one thing, not attractive as a rule to shovel food into one's face. But we've eaten more than we needed because we ate so quickly, we didn't give the leptin a chance to say, really, you've had enough now. It's really an elegant system. So I eat slowly. And almost every time I'm starting to eat something, because the food is delicious to me, I was like, this is really good. I might give myself permission to have another plateful after this one. But I slow down. I put my utensils down in between. I think, I talk. If my lovely mate is here, I talk to him. And after a while, by the time I've gotten to the end of that plate of fuel, I don't want anything else. If someone brought me another plate of it, I would say, no, thanks, I'm good. I did have a little recent victory myself. I did a snippet about this for my patrons. My husband and I were out running errands last weekend. And we were out, and we'd been, out a while. And we were, let's go to Five Guys. We're out, it's nearby. So I don't know if you're familiar with Five Guys, but it's a burger joint. They specialize in fries and burgers and shakes. But you can get a burger in a bowl or in a lettuce wrap. You don't have to have the bun. And of course, the fries don't come with. You have to get those separately. So I'm standing online to place the order. My husband was talking to someone on the phone. And he always gets a double bacon cheeseburger with the works in a bowl, no bun. And I usually get, it's called a little burger with the works in a bowl. So I'm standing there waiting online. You place your order and they get it. And so I'm getting ready to place the order and I realize, wait a minute, I'm not hungry. I'm really not hungry. So I just ordered his burger, bacon double cheeseburger with the works in a bowl. Our number came up. We took, thank you very much. It's in a brown bag. We come home. He unpacks it. He says, where's yours? I said, I wasn't hungry. What? We didn't have to go then? I said, well, we didn't have to go, but it's totally fine. And I'm just not hungry. So he had to fight a little bit of self-consciousness that he was eating and I wasn't, but I was victorious. I felt great. I could have gotten the burger. It wouldn't have been a big deal. It's not like I'd eaten a lot of food that day. It's a burger, a cheeseburger. It'd be a cheeseburger, a little one with the works, which is like, sauteed jalapenos and mushrooms and stuff. But even I had to remind not even I, like I'm all that. I've been doing this for many years. I still need to remind myself that I don't need to eat if I'm not hungry. And I didn't miss it at all. So that's the challenge for me. Don't eat if you're not hungry. And I also needed to get over the worry that I wasn't eating enough. Now I'm eating enough for sure. 100% I'm eating enough. But, people say, is that all you're eating? Okay. You do not need to buy one thing to be 100% successful at this protocol. Not one. Not a food product, not a kit, not supplements, certainly not exogenous ketones or any of that stuff. But I will happily sell you a mug, a t-shirt. I went keto with Casey. Avocado. You can see items from my spread shop below. Caps, stickers, teddy bears with different things on them. Just trying to earn my keep. And I want to thank patrons, many of whom are here. Some of whom are here. I have a private support group on patreon.com, link below, where, depending on your pledge level, starting at $5 a month, you get 20 pre-recorded video morning snippets from me, the topics usually suggested by patrons. I do them every weekday morning, and I just talk. So every weekday morning, going up from there, a handful of patron-only live streams on Crowdcast, which, nope, not today. Today, 10 o'clock, we're having one. And going up from there, one-on-one with me once a month, depending on your pledge level. And I send out postcards 4 times a year with things I design. And that's it. So thank you very much. I really appreciate patrons. They allowed me to leave my previous career. Now I'm going to turn my attention to all you lovely folk that are here. And I just start with the one I see. Cara Z writes, after a few recent successes, At not eating solely by the clock, I think my mind can begin to accept it. It takes practice, doesn't it? Kathy Sieb writes, nothing but humor. Okay. I missed something. Celine Scrapassion. My father's family were poor, and my dad went to school with ketchup sandwiches sometimes. So we had to finish everything on our plates in order to be able to leave the table, even at 5 years old. Yeah, a lot of people. Maybe not to the ketchup sandwich level, but and from multi generations, grandparents who went through the depression, or and you just didn't waste. But if you eat the food, it's not going to be there anyway. You can put it in the fridge, you can save it. But if you eat it, it's gone. If you throw it away, it's gone. If you give it to the chickens, it's gone. If you give it to your dog, it's gone. Better it should go to waste, W-A-S-T, than to waste, W-A-I-S-T. Pam Work, good morning. Little Crafty Nook, hey, good morning. And Mary Thomas writes, good morning from Florida. Little Crafty Nook writes, Celine Scrapassion, yes, our ingrained experiences make a difference. Little Crafty Nook, avocado. Yeah, it's on the, I don't know if you're referring to I put an avocado into the graphic. Cara Z writes, one of my favorite Caseyisms. I didn't think I could until I did. It's exactly right. I knew I couldn't do it until I did it. Celine writes, exactly, little Crafty Nook. I feel so guilty when I leave something on my plate. So now I try to take smaller plates, take less food at a time, but I still struggle to leave anything on my plate. Well, you've already answered the question. Smaller plate, smaller portion, but actually do acknowledge that you can save it for later. You're not only not being wasteful, you're being frugal. Kathy Collins, hi there from Canada. When you follow the protocol, keto is successful. Correct. Okay, Kathy C. Bryce, you missed the earlier comment about peckish. I can only imagine that someone got a little saucy. Diane Jendrick writes, member of Clean Plate Generation also. Terrible habit to try to break because it is ingrained when we are children. I'm very dark. I don't know. I have, in the cooler months, I'm in here in front of the fire. And then when it gets to be probably next week or the week after, I'll go back to doing these from the kitchen, which is easier to adjust the lighting because we have this huge bank of windows right here and the facing east, so I'm backlit. Frugal is good. Frugal is good. Okay. FYI, if you are in the Greensboro, North Carolina area on Monday, day after tomorrow, there's the Go Keto with Casey meetup at Wine Styles. Free. I don't know nothing. It's just an open conversation. And it's half price wine by the glass on Mondays at Wine Styles. You can see information about that either on my Facebook page where I put the event, on my blog. I try to make my blog like the central clearinghouse for everything. So pretty much anything I talk about, you can somehow find up my blog. But on my schedule. Is there anything else I wanted to talk about? Okay. Carissa's Corner writes, I'm 4 weeks back on keto carnivore, feeling great. I am strength training twice a week too. I had to track and discover my fat wasn't high enough. I think that's why I couldn't stick to it before. I don't know about that, Carissa. It's not a high fat diet. You just eat the fat that comes with the protein. And that usually will get you where you need to be. But if you're eating very lean cuts of protein, then yeah, to eat the poultry with the skin and ribeyes with the fat, or pork chop with the fat, or bacon, but whatever is working for you, excellent. Little Crafty Nook, when we ever get over there, I will look you up for sure. Oh yeah, Christina Polishchik, yep, clocks forward. Ugh. I don't care for daylight saving time. Fun fact, it's daylight saving time, not savings time. Janice Helsen, just back from a cruise. I was so good with food, but lost a battle with pina coladas. Luckily, now back on track, and I'm up 1.5 pounds, but not too bad. Little crafty nook. Yes, I'm strength training and some cardio too. Writing down everything I eat has helped. Mini Pearl 105. I need to up my animal fat. I truly believe that the animal fat helps me tremendously with my hunger, but feeling much better this past week. Well, Mini Pearl, why animal fat? What kind of fat were you consuming? This is not a high fat diet, not high dietary fat like fat bombs and a lot of butter. But believe it or not, eating a stick of butter is not good for you. And it doesn't. But anyway, eat the fat that comes with the protein. Nature packaged it beautifully. Eggs with the yolks. Diane Gendrick, do you track protein macros at all? No, I don't even use that M word. No, I don't. I never have. I don't look at percentages. I don't need to. I just keep my carbs low and I work on not eating if I'm not hungry. I eat fatty sources of protein. I am not anti-vegetable. I don't feel we need to label to the nth degree our protocol. I don't. I just tend, I just will tend to eat the fatty sources of protein, and that's the bulk of what I eat. M word. Christine the Polish chick, you remember the M word. I made a video about that a long time ago. Diane Gendrick, being told we older ladies need higher protein. Well, Diane, I don't know if you're including me in we older ladies, but screw you. No, I'm kidding. I am aware. I just feel really youthful. And I've asked Dr. Westman about this. Do women, as we, go through different stages of life, require more protein? He said he doesn't know because he hasn't seen studies about it. But, I tend to not feel very well if I eat too much protein for my body. Protein makes me feel kind of logy if I consume too much. But wrap it in some fat and I'm fine. And I mean wrap it in fat, I mean like the poultry with the skin. Julia Dennis, we moved to Mississippi 3 years ago. Seems everyone here is cornbread fed and most everything is breaded or fried in bad oils. Challenging sometimes. Well, Julia, I don't know where you lived before, but almost every place. You can go to New England. It's all about muffins and, fried. And if you're in England, it's shepherd's pie. Maybe California, they're a little bit different. But almost everywhere, it's carb city. We just have to, I'm in not the deep South, but Krispy Kreme was invented down the road from me. There's a wonderful chain called Biscuitville. Well, that tells you everything you need to know. Everything's carbs. We just have to not eat them. Judy Tucker, ha, is older women. Not high. Deborah Barnes, hi, Casey. Love watching when I can. It's helpful being with folks that understand even for a few minutes a week. So many are so quick to judge when they have no idea what we are going through. Thanks. Yeah. It's like telling a depressed person, I'll just snap out of it. Well, I've had chronic clinical depression. Someone says, just cheer up. You risk getting cut if you tell a depressed person that. Mini Pearl 105, no, meaning lately the steaks haven't been as fatty as I want. Yeah, bring on. You know what's great? Chuck roast. Because it's lots of fat. You know what? My husband's out of the country. I may pop a chuck roast in the Dutch oven and just pick at that. I can make that last for 10 days. Little crafty nook. My dad was born and raised in Florida, and he had a heart attack at my age. So, yeah, he blames the fried foods. And it's not the fried food, it's the breading, right? It's not of course, things are fried in what they call vegetable oil, but they're not made from vegetables, and it's not healthy. Okay, friends. Does anyone have anything they'd like to share? You may ask me anything. Any Suggestions? Feedback? Linda Bridges, got to pick out the good stuff from the carbs when you go out to eat. Yeah, just, and most restaurants, servers, they are not the least bit scandalized. Our favorite Mexican restaurant, we haven't been in a really long time just because we're pretty good cooks now. We take our own pork rinds. They seat you and they automatically bring baskets of tortilla chips, that food, which I told myself I could not go without eating. We say, oh, my husband tells them in Spanish, no, thank you. And they say, oh, in Spanish, are you not eating carbs? Carbohidrato? That's right. Okay, so we bring our own pork rinds. They bring us some hot salsa. And then we order something sin arroz, sin frijoles, más pico de gallo y ensalada. Nobody cares. Dying Gendrick, I'm 70, LOL. Still youthful. Feeling 40, right? That's great. Our weekly video Bible study. Chuck roast. Chuck roast. Chuck roast. Sounds like a made-up actor's name. Candace V, do you ever not eat in a day because you're not hungry? Yeah, some days I consume very little. But that's kind of balanced out. Relative to the way I used to eat, I'm eating lots less. But that has kind of balanced out. And I am weight stable, and I have weighed within a range, small range, the same for nearly 6 years now. So I don't arbitrarily not eat if I'm legit hungry. For me, I don't believe in it. I don't think that makes any more sense than to arbitrarily eat if you're not hungry just because it's breakfast time. So, yeah, there are days that I look back and say, well, I didn't eat very much today, but that was okay. And then the next day, some days there's not enough food for me. I'm hungry, hungry, hungry. Moore said, no beans. Doc Sungal. Is the Germ Support Group looking for a new physical location for monthly meetings? Cheryl, I don't know that we are. We've gotten some pretty good feedback. For those of you who don't know, the Durham Support Group meeting with Dr. Eric Westman and me, which Dr. Westman has done these meetings for 10 or 12 or 13 years, maybe lots more than that. And then because I'm the luckiest person in the whole world, I have become a friend. He even sometimes refers to me as a colleague of Dr. Westman. I was never his patient or anything. And then I would attend the meetings in Durham. I'd drive over there, and then he asked me to moderate them with him, which I did in person. We lost our venue, and so we've been doing them on Crowdcast. So we just had one this past Tuesday, first Tuesday of every month, free, open agenda for an hour and a half. So we've gotten a lot of good feedback that people really enjoy being able to attend them live. And then on Crowdcast, I can even invite people to the stage to come down and share their story. So, okay, kind of like Rip Torn, right? So Chuck roast. Candace B, the only time I may not eat if I'm hungry is if it's close to bedtime. Might have a bite of cheese. Yeah, and you think about it, you're not going to die. You're right. Why eat now? I'm not going to die in my sleep. And actually, there's a lot to be said for having an extended period of time when you're sleeping, of letting the body do its offline things, if you will. Deborah Barnes, local store had corned beef roast. I guess promoting for St. Patrick's Day. Had to get one with fresh mushrooms and onions going in the crock pot today. Yum. Heather Silva. Heather Silva. My husband and I have each removed 20 pounds this year. Feeling awesome. Congratulations. Congratulations. That is so fantastic. Okay. I'm going to wrap this up. I've got something at 10 o'clock. And then I've got another thing I'm doing, which I've been putting off for a long time, but I cannot put it off any longer. And it's going to be a sunny day, so I might go pull some English ivy out of my yard. I have a lifetime supply of English ivy that I can pull. Thank you guys for allowing me to be part of your Saturday. Remember, keep your carbs 20 grams or fewer a day. Total carbs, not net. Don't eat if you're not hungry. And it's okay to struggle with that, as I said, because from toddlerhood, we didn't get a vote on that often. So, but the good thing is it grew to be a habit, and we can undo that habit. Thanks, everyone. Love English ivy? Yeah, I do from a distance and in somebody else's yard. It has totally taken over our trees and everything else. It's very invasive. All right, thanks. TTFN. And I'll see you next week. God willing, and the creek don't rise.